Michael W. Smith, Worship Song of the Year, first ever Caleb Fan Award you've been nominated for, and you win it right out of the gate. Dude, that's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really see it coming. You know, you
didn't think you had a chance?
Well, I knew it was a big song, you know, and wow, boy, this, I mean, anytime you have a song that sort of kind of goes worldwide, you sort of go like, well, is this really happening, you know? But it was a special song, and I can say it's a great song because I didn't write it. But yeah, it just it was the right song for the right time.
Yeah.
Kyle did a great job. You know, when they said they wanted to do a radio version, I didn't really want to do that. You know, I just wanted my heart to be pure in the whole thing because we cut it at Bridgestone. It was a big live version that lasted 6 minutes or whatever. We knew that probably wasn't going to fly on radio.
No,
but
not these days anyway.
Not these days, but I reconsidered because the power of the song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know, you never saw coming what happened in 2020. And to see how that song became an anthem for so many of us.
It did.
It's like God had a plan for that song. And aren't you glad you just kind of like took your hands off it and said, God, do your thing?
I know. And I don't believe in coincidence. You know, I think just the fact that my daughter, Anna, you know, she's the one who introduced me to the song.
Yeah.
I said out there, I said, you know, she said, Dad, have you heard this song called Waymaker? And she was going through, I mean, her husband left her, you know, and that's a whole other story. I won't get into all that. But she said, have you heard Waymaker? I said, no. She said, it's my go-to song.
Wow.
And that was 2018.
Wow.
So she played it. I said, well, I want to hear it. If it's your go-to song, I want it to be my go-to song, too. And she played it for me, and I went, oh, my goodness, there is something on this song. And I knew it right when I heard it.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, and what's really cool is the first K-Love book that's been released is your brand new book.
Yes.
I wouldn't be surprised if we're standing here again next year doing this all over again.
Well, this was a fun, thrilling, enjoyable book for me to write because I've wanted to do it for a long time because most of this book is really about my dad. And I equate all these amazing stories about my dad to, obviously, to Abba Father, you know, the Father Heart of God. And, but my dad taught me what God was like in a lot of ways. I know it sounds odd, but he loved everybody. He was kind. He smiled and laughed every day. He was for me. I think God's for us. And my dad was for me my whole life. I never heard him. He never kicked me out of the house when I had my 4 year of prodigal living, making bad choices. He just loved me unconditionally, and I loved writing about him in this book, and I'm excited about the book.
That's awesome. What do you hope the book does for those who maybe haven't had the best experience with an earthly father? Yeah,
and that's one reason why I didn't know if the book would do so well, you know, because people equate when they didn't have a good childhood, you know, they don't want to hear about a father.
Yeah.
They don't want to hear about somebody else's dad who's great or their heavenly father, whatever. You know what? There's hope for everybody, and I've got to have a lot of friends who had horrific upbringings. Don Finto being one of those, my pastor who's mentored me for 38 years, but he turned a corner. He just, and everybody's got a story. I'm not going to pretend to know what those are, but Don just chose to let God father him. My mom the same way. My mom was abandoned when she was 8 years old. Her 3 younger siblings. My real grandmother told him to get out of the car and walk home, and my real grandmother drove off and never, ever came back.
No kidding.
Ever.
Wow.
And I remember meeting my real grandmother for the only one time, and my mom saw her only one time. We both saw her at the same time. It was my Aunt Pat's funeral. Wow. I'll have to admit, I was a little ticked.
I bet.
I just wanted to go. I'm 20 years old. I just wanted to go like, do you
punch
know?
her in the throat?
A little bit, you know. But I watched my mom. I already knew my mom forgave her.
Yeah.
But I watched my mom love on her real mom, who she hadn't seen in decades.
Wow.
And I went, you know what? God can get us through anything.
Yeah.
And so, I hope they can read the book for people who've had those kind of passing, going, you know what? I'm going to be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think you should book your trip for next year's Caleb Fan Awards.
I'll at least come.
Okay.
It's only a 40-minute drive.
Exactly. Michael, congratulations, my
friend.
friend.
Thank you very much.
Well deserved. Thank you very much. Thank you for giving us an anthem that we've all clung to this year.